Hey guys!
Oh, welcome, dear watcher, to another video and another sort of anime review. Maquia is a Japanese anime film from quite recently actually. It takes place in a fantasy world where humans coexist alongside beings called Eyolf that are nigh immortal. The titular Maquia belongs to that race of immortals. Now the movie is quite beautiful. Like not on a level of Your Name, but still great to look at. Unfortunately, the studio resorts a couple of times to using 3D animation, which doesn't blend well with the 2D drawn scenes. At least I can understand the decision, because professional 3D animation is cheaper for animating crowds and larger beings, and yes, this movie has dragons. Yeah, so that's probably just a budget issue. What I also liked are the character designs. They're all quite distinctive and expressive while staying grounded and realistic for a fantasy story. As for the story, protagonist Maquia is a young orphaned Eyolf girl. She's shown to be kind-hearted but meek in comparison to her peers. She serves as an assistant to the clan's chief, who warns her about creating emotional attachments to outsiders, saying that Maquia will know what true loneliness is if she does. And this statement is kind of what the movie proves wrong throughout its powerful story. So one day the Eyolf are attacked by a neighboring state and Maquia gets separated from her people, and as fate will have it, she finds a lone baby and sort of adopts him. Not to take away too much from this story or anything from here on, but it becomes a love story. But when I say a love story, I don't mean a traditional romantic one, but rather that unconditional love that can only happen between a mother and a child. One of the reasons why I was so touched by it was that Maquia is a single mother and she tries really her best, even though it doesn't always work. I think that hits close to home, as my own mother was also a struggling single mother. The movie doesn't shy away from showing all those trials and tribulations. Besides love, it's also about the loneliness that comes from a life of with and without love. This is exemplified through Maquia's friend Lilia, who is a much stronger person at the beginning of the movie, but their character arcs are kind of set in reverse. Maquia chooses, so to speak, her child, while Lilia is forced to carry one by a royal prince. Maquia slowly assumes agency over her life, and Lilia exactly loses that agency. One grows powerful in a relationship and attachment to their child, and the other one is never allowed to. Aside from its main subject matter, the motion picture also is great in its world building. The Eyolf are a very interesting culture, as you have seen in the intro clip, as they commute their feelings and stories through woven sheets of cloth. Also, the kingdom in which most of the story takes place is interesting too, although a bit more medieval in nature than dreamy like the Eyolf. The closest I can compare it is to House Targaryen from A World of Ice and Fire, because this enemy kingdom that captures most of Maquia's people use dragons, but those dragons are dying out, and it's kind of a parallel message to how the Eyolf are also slowly disappearing from this world. And the other comparison I made was to the Fire Nation from, Avatar The Last Airbender. It would be great to see more of that world in future movies, but I doubt that it will happen. During the climax of the film, armies of other kingdoms were shown to exist as they arrive and engage in battle. But we don't learn particularly much about them. There's just so much space for exploration because this world is interesting and it has probably more to tell. But Maquia is already such a perfect movie on its own that I don't think that it needs a sequel, although it would be nice to see a different perspective or another story to play out. At the end of the day, what really sells the film is the relationship between Maquia and her adoptive son Ariel throughout the years. Even if she will outlive him, that doesn't mean that the journey or emotions the two went through together is invalidated in any way. For writing this review, I rewatched the movie and I felt every emotion that I had felt the first time, perhaps even more powerful than the first time. And I know I talked a fair share about the visuals and the story and its themes, but in addition I would say that the voice work is stellar too, and you really feel the chemistry between the different voice actors and, so to speak, their characters. Under the directive of Mari Okada, the studio PA Works delivered a true masterpiece of a movie. So this is it for this week. Leave a like or whatever, and even if you want to, subscribe.
Now get the fuck out of my driveway.